Welcome in everybody to the channel. If you are new here, I read energy and tarot intuitively. The theme of today's pick a card reading or pick a plant is going to be who are you when no one's around? So we have group 1, we have group 2, group 3, it's like a very cool pot, and group 4. So take your time, choose whichever you feel the most drawn to. Timestamps are in the description, and we will get started with group 1. Okay, welcome in group 1. If you chose this plant, then this will be your reading today on who are you when no one's around. I do have a channeled message for you guys, but I just needed to say for those of you that are following along that are actually watching the screen, just in case I forget, because it only just kind of come through and there is a bit here that we'll probably go through. I feel like group 1's always a bit longer and a bit more in depth than some of the other groups anyway. Or we go, sometimes a little bit of extra detail, which is like making me kind of think of Virgo or Scorpio energy potentially, but it's just, could be Gemini as well. Hard to say. See what comes up. Don't worry about the zodiacs. If they don't resonate for you, it doesn't disqualify you from the reading, okay? So what I was going to say is that between this Queen of Cups and this Ace of Cups energy, this Six of Swords, that's like, on the side here, is actually going to act as like a bridging energy, okay? All right, that being said, we will come back to that in a moment. So the message that I had for you is actually like pretty deep. It definitely did make me, I had the feeling here that there was maybe some sort of like unbearable situations that you could be experiencing. And this is just like anything. No disclaimers needed, but just remember that like sometimes messages that come through, we've got people here from like one end of the scale to the other, okay? So with that in mind, I don't know if I'm meant to be here anymore. Like this is what I was kind of getting coming through, as if it was like you thinking, or like just almost like, I don't even know if it was like a hurting or just being at peace with it, but just knowing that I don't know if I want to be here anymore. It was like I was thinking or almost praying or something like that, okay? And it was almost as if I was like, I don't know how to explain it, as if I was like having a conversation with you, but you were like praying, or I'm like hearing the thought or something, but then I'm kind of like responding, or it's as if I'm like witnessing spirit respond, okay? And so they were like, hold on, like things are in the works, like big things, life changes. And as it was kind of like I was unpacking some of my cards, and I seen like one of the Empress cards that was pregnant. So for some of you, it's like that scale, big changes, and it doesn't have to be pregnancy. It could be a thing, right? Just take what resonates for you and your situation. Even if pregnancy is not involved, it's just metaphorically, it's like such a good example, right, of how big a scale the change would be, right? Having kids is life changing, okay? So whatever this is, whether it involves children or not, it is life changing, okay? That being said, so we had, you don't need more than what you have. And I have no idea of what your exact situation is. So I realized for some of you, things aren't the way that you would choose, even to the point that the situation could be, you could experience something that's like kind of detrimental or intolerable in terms of whatever the situation is. But they were just reassuring, like, you are doing really well, and you don't need yeah, you don't need more than what you have. Okay, but we also had, with everything that came your way, even in the darkest hour when it seems like there is no savior, it's like you have already won. And I know it's such like a weird sentence because I feel like there's so much wrapped up in that one sentence that could be unpacked there. But there's some sort of acknowledgement here where you've already won, okay? And then, you know, in saying that though, it was like, well, you know, what does it mean if this is what winning looks like? Like more pain, like you might ask? But no, you are being built up in a way that cannot be torn down. And then I was getting this like whole massive like energy of like second guessing, self-doubt, it's either like it gets down to a point of like no, I definitely can be torn down, or my situation can be torn down, or you know, it kind of makes me think there's you kind of maybe experienced some big things or things that have like really rocked you, or you've just had like a lot of instability in life or something like that, or maybe there's not a lot of support or something, because there's like this doubt and whatnot is kind of around your ability to handle a situation that, like, you know, any sort of adversity or, you know, different situations that might pop up. It's like you just don't trust that you'll be able to get through it, maybe, or something different. But I'll leave that because it's going to be a bit different for everybody. So they were just highlighting like you are a survivor. And I think this was not meant to be in vain of the situations that you've experienced, right? Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I need to. No, okay. All right, we'll leave that and we will get back to the card. All right, so the first thing that I have here is that there could be two people involved, right? For some of you, this is like a before-after kind of experience of yourself. But for others of you, there's something to do with these two people, which you could be one of the two, will have to do with who you are when no one's around. Because in one sense, there could be like so many emotions or being at capacity. For some of you, I feel like there is just an energy or a feeling. I was almost getting like greed or envy or a strong distaste or disdain, but it's like emotionally fueled. It's like not being full on ourselves or wanting more than what we need or something. I don't know, this is weird, and it's not gonna, those specific bits are not gonna be for everyone. I'm just gonna keep kind of going through them as we go, and you just take what resonates for your situation. For some people, that's like the type of person that you've been you know, on the receiving end of, was like people that were just like putting their emotions above everybody else or anybody else, or yeah, it's like, I don't know what to do with this, and I don't know why I have to do this, and it's a lot, but it's like something that consumes a person. Okay. And then there was like a leaving or moving away from a situation. Some of you are actually kind of at that bridging point between the two. There's something here where some of you are like in the middle of trying to get that new start happening, or like leaving somewhere. Like maybe you're trying to do what you can. Some of you, I don't know, some of you, it's like whatever it was that you're experiencing that was just a lot, made it really hard for you to take actionable steps towards leaving whatever the situation was, because it might have just been a lot that you were dealing with, okay? To a point where when people could kind of address this directly or indirectly, could actually spark up a bit of like a emotion of maybe like a self-defensiveness, or like I'm literally doing my best, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so this new start energy, others of you, yeah, so some of you, it's like there's like a start, there's something here where it's like you're trying to get through this period. Others of you, this is like the only way I don't know, I guess maybe spirit's version of how you're going to get to this other side. Take what resonates here. I guess everyone's on different timelines, so we could have a few of you or some of you that have kind of come out the other end, and you've already witnessed this change. You've already seen this change. And so that change could look like, now it is giving the energy of rebirth very strongly, right? And we did have that signifier of, you know, the pregnant woman, and as well as like that new chapter or the life-changing kind of events that may happen. So we already talked about that, but there is something here about having a renewed hope, a renewed sense of faith, a renewed connection with spirituality for those of, I don't know, those of you that will, you know, come to happen. There is something here about a renewed sense of love, a renewed sense of friendship, a renewed sense of hope, a renewed sense of joy, a renewed sense of going with the flow, a renewed sense of ease in some way. Okay, a renewed sense of there's like things that you want to invest in, things that you want to pour into. And for some of you, this could actually be reflective of yourself, where it's like, yeah, you have all these feelings, and some of them could be external situations, but some of them could be for yourself as a person, where it's like, maybe you've gone through a period of time that was like really hard, and you almost had to like knuckle down into the little bit of control or structure that you had, and you got really rigid. And now is going to be a time of like softening and ease and flow. And then for some of you, maybe throughout this whole situation, you've not had time or capacity to hold whatever it was that you had, and now you're going to be able to hold it with ease. Like, I feel like whatever the problems are, they're kind of getting smaller. Instead of being overcome by them, we're going to be able to easily hold them with grace and strength and nobility. And the way that you deal with these situations, I do feel like in part there is a helping hand from spirit here to help you be able to do this, to get to this point, to move beyond whatever has happened. But I do feel in other parts of this, for some of you, there's like a divine aspect here. For some of you, this is like a gift to you. And I know that if you've been through like really bad things, that it would be very hard to comprehend how this could have possibly been a gift. But I think there's something here that you may not understand until you're out the other side, okay? There is something here that could be like life-giving. Like, I keep getting that renewed sense of energy, and it's like the weirdest like analogy, but the best. It's almost like I'm getting the example of new blood, and that could look like new life force energy, as in new vitality, as in a renewed sense of just life, like being full on life. But for others of you, it seems almost like very medical, and I don't know how to explain it, because like how I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not, like, how do you explain new blood? I think for some of you, maybe there are things that you've been doing that have given you like a renewed, I don't know, experience in, maybe it's like the things that you've been doing in your body, or leaving some situation and getting through the other side of it. It's like your body has time to go into like a renewal phase or a restoration phase or something, where maybe you're able to take good enough care of yourself that you can start to, I don't know if it's even just healing, but actually experiencing better health. And it's really weird that it's coming through that way, because this is cups. Pentacles would be something that I would think to represent like the physical body and your health, and you know, real world tangible things you can touch, things that happen to your body as it deteriorates, right? But what this might specifically signify here is it's like maybe a health issue that has been caused from some type of like mental health, or like stress, or heart focused, or hurt, or pain. There's something here where it's like the things that we're thinking or feeling have really, like, it could have been like a very long-term stress. It could have been suffering at the hand of some type of experience that really took a hit to your health in one way or another. And now this is going to be time to let it breathe. This is going to be time to, you know, some of that will resolve itself. And, you know, I hesitate even saying things like that because I realize sometimes people have lifelong debilitating things that they experience. And I'm not here to like promise you that all of a sudden it's going to, every single thing's going to be perfect and no longer be an issue. I don't think that's the case, but I think it's just that there's some, if it's at least emotional, if nothing else. Okay. That being said, we've moved through that. We did talk about how that's like, there is an aspect here that could be like quite divine, a gift from spirit, but also there's something here too, where in return, there's something that you now have to offer. There's something here where you now have like maybe enough capacity or experience or compassion, or you've navigated something like this now. So you have the hand to be able to help others through it. And I don't know if this is necessarily like guiding people, but maybe just the ability to hold space. And that could look like having a conversation where we're not like necessarily hanging on waiting for our turn every moment, but rather just letting the person speak, just letting them flow in whatever it is that they're experiencing or sharing with us, okay? Almost like being the container for another person. But this is not about only being that for others. It's not service to our detriment. This is the ease and ability to hold ourselves in high esteem and fullness, in respecting our own feelings and being in one hand, and then in the other being able to offer a hand of kindness and compassion in moments where maybe it's like appropriate or something like that. Okay, so whatever it is that means, I think there's like a type of purity here that's being acknowledged, where maybe something beforehand, there could have been something that you're experiencing that has either tainted your worldview at that point in time, or maybe there was something kind of distorted in the lens of how we were experiencing the world. And there's something here where there's now like a type of purity, a renewed innocence, a renewed sense of faith. This could look like many things, like a deepening or a strengthening of like a spirituality or a religious connection. It doesn't have to be that stuff. This could literally just be just feeling like you can trust your experience in the world now, feeling like you can handle a situation with confidence or ease, or even if you don't totally feel confident, because we did get that energy, there was a lot of self-doubt and stuff. There might be something here like the seas that you had to cross were so rough that you know that you could sail most things with ease now, something like that. Okay, it feels like a big level up. It feels like a big evolution through experience or something like that. And I keep getting like a very Scorpionic kind of energy come through, which is like big development, big transformation. I was getting soul transformation actually coming through as well. So I think there's something here that you're very much like on your path. You're doing what you're meant to. You've overcome some kind of crazy, phenomenal challenges and changes. I don't know why I get it come through a little bit like, the best way I could explain it is like a werewolf. And, you know, you see in the movies that all of a sudden, like the bones start cracking, growing out of nowhere. And then there's like the busting or ripping off of clothes just through the sheer muscle mass that like develops. And it's like the reconfiguration of the anatomy and the claws kind of piercing through and the teeth piercing through and growing. And then there's like the hair growing everywhere. And it's like just the whole anatomical change that happens in incredible time, divine, I don't know why it's coming through this way, but like divine timing. It's so fast. It's so immensely intense and painful to have to undergo a change like that. And we're just getting the reference for some of you. It's like when babies or toddlers have like teeth come through, and it's like a lot at once, very quickly, and they're so little, and it's like a pain tolerance thing or threshold as well. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into that. Take what resonates for your situation. But it's like almost like being absolutely crushed and distorted and broken down to almost be built back up in such a way that you are an absolute machine and that you almost have no control over the situation but to surrender to it. Because imagine trying to stop your own bones breaking when it's like a transformation happening on its own. It's literally almost taking on a life of its own, right? It's impossible. There is not a whole lot of sense of control there. And that could explain some of the things that we were getting come up at the start. So it could be like extremely painful, right? But there's something here that it's like there could have been themes that would have come up in terms of like ego death, perception depth, the way that we operated, the, you know, old patterns of behavior, old unconscious, subconscious driving, you know, like conditioning playing out that we don't even realize we're really a part of if we're not able to look beyond, you know, the surface of things. And why, you know, there's a lot there that I think you would have been brought to light, like it would have been illuminated for you. And I think you've got a new level on depth of understanding here and how the world works and your own operations, and the things that you've been through have really taught you something different. There's like a whole level of self-discovery here, and I think you know that you've got a grit and a determination like no other. And I'm getting a lot of references here in terms of like living in alignment, being divinely balanced in some way, having full energy circuits, like having your chakras in alignment maybe. I already said living in alignment. There's something here where maybe whatever it is that you have and or are experiencing when you come out the other side of it is going to change everything. I don't know if you will have ever lived life like this before, and there may have been things that were consistent issues for you previously where you are now going to be able to hold and handle them a lot more, with a lot more ease and grace. There's like, what is that word? It's like divinely ordained, which is not like a word that I use, but it's like ordained, orchestrated. Yeah, ordained. It's like divinely ordained, whatever this is. And I think there's something here too, that when we talk about that balance and everything, and like an almost like a ease and aspect of harmony potentially, that this is going to help you in like helping others as well. And this actually, it really makes me think of that for those of you that actually watch most of the videos that come out, or if you didn't, I did do a small kind of like a quick collective video, almost like a rough draft, simple explanation maybe of what a dharmic path might be. This group, it very much seems like something about your situation and this being balanced in alignment and this renewed ability to live your own life, but also give at the same time. We talked a lot about compassion, and I was getting a sense of kindness or something coming through as well. This could all very much be lining up for you, for those of you that resonated very heavily or strongly with that. Okay, so now that we've kind of got that out of the way, I feel the need to say, I guess getting back to our topic of who are you when no one's around. So a lot of what has been happening for you could have very much affected like your sense of self, who you are, who you felt or thought you were, versus, you know, like that before and after kind of, oh yeah, it's all settled now, this is good. I have much more clarity, okay? So it was like before, it was like I was kind of competing with different like thoughts and ideas or opinions or expectations or judgments or fear. I don't know if I said fears already. And now all of a sudden it's peace. It's like peace and clarity and focus. And I can understand. It's weird. I don't know how to explain this to you, right? There could be a shift here and some type of neurodivergence. Again, I'm not like a scientist or anything. Not that I need to keep reminding you, but I feel like sometimes I get pushed to kind of say it, right? And other times I'm probably reading into it too much. So there could have been something here where there was like a shift in consciousness, a shift in neurodivergence, or a shift in thinking or perspective. There could have been so many external pressures that you were like maybe in survival or something, can something's calm down, and then because you have this ease and pressure, now you're able to kind of be clear again in some sense. It's almost like I've gone from trying to focus on 50 things at once down to exactly just what is in front of me one at a time, okay? And not through the inability to have coped, but a renewed sense and lease of clarity. And it's almost like the water is running, so it's still moving, it's still kind of flushing things out. But now when I look at the water, it's not murky and stagnant anymore, and there's not like debris in it. There's not like, you know, silt or mud. It's not brown water anymore. It's like, it's clear. It's running clear. Like, even though it's running, I can see the bottom of like the creek bed, and I can see everything picture perfect clear, except for the ripples of the water as they pass through. And that is exactly, it was like the lifeblood. It was like exactly what we needed all along, and we've never had it. Or at least not for this period of time or for a long time or something here. So, okay, with that being said, it also feels like emotional regulation over or versus maybe a distortion or dysregulation that was previously happening, okay? I feel like I'm getting off track again. So, who are you when no one's around? So you could have gone through an extreme emotional tide, extreme changes in emotional regulation, there could have just been so much happening for so long that you didn't even know who you were before. Maybe for a lot of you, you've never actually truly experienced who you really are, because most of your life has been kind of consumed by whatever these other things are, or whatever changes are coming up, or it's almost like you've been sent down a river raft. You know, like when babies would be put in a basket and sent down the river for whatever reason, and it was like a bumpy way all the way down the river, like bumping up against rocks and reeds and just, you know, dipping in and out of flows of current and everything, and it feels like you haven't been able to get off the ride maybe until now. Okay, so I feel like we need to ground this out a little bit just before we go further anymore. For some of you, please, like, I kind of get the thought or the feeling that maybe it could be like an emotionally challenging, I don't know, like, it could just be challenging emotionally in sitting with how we feel because of everything, like the acknowledgement and the validation of our situation, and the having to recount it and actually sit with it and feel it. And it's like, maybe for some of you, you've not really had someone who could sit with you and see it or understand it, or I don't know. And then it's like, there's a sudden peace. There's a sudden air of everything is and will be okay. There's a sudden relief. There's a sudden realization of just being there and just holding it. And I almost feel like when I can sit there and I let it move through me, and there's that peace, that renewed peace afterwards, where it's not maybe so big anymore. That when I breathe in, I'm no longer just breathing shallow. I can breathe all the way down through the diaphragm into my stomach and have one long kind of relaxed breath, and it fills my lungs back up, and all of a sudden I feel like I can sit taller. I feel more like ease in my body, and things are not as heavy. Yeah. Okay. I am going to take some more cards because I still feel like we have quite a bit here. So, who are you when no one's around? So there's been a lot, okay? Some of you at your core are people who are forever undergoing death and rebirth cycles and transformation. Yeah, process and transformation. Who are you? People that have experienced maybe many a tower moments. For some of you, could be the representation of a tower moment to a specific person. For some of you, the way that you move throughout the world is very strongly action orientated. There could be something here about being physically adept or something, but some of you could experience those kind of internal tower moments, I almost want to say. But we'll continue on. I do feel like who it is when no one's around, there feels like for the most part there's a lot of integrity here. There's a type of beauty and a grace. There's a being well-rounded. There's a knowing where you sit or stand, a knowing your place, having like a confidence, like a quiet confidence, right? Like we do have Leo here with the strength, and we do have like Taurus, Libra here with the Empress, and Mars with the Tower. I already talked about like potentially like Virgo, Gemini, and Scorpio as well. So again, don't stress if your signs haven't come up. It is confirmation on those of you with placements, but it's more about the energy, okay? And so for some of you, you are very strong in taking action. We've talked about that. Okay, some of you could represent that tower moment to others. So there could be something here where it's like, because of your internal focus and then how you kind of move throughout the world, there is something here about that tower moment. Why does that have to do with who you are when no one's around? Maybe this could really affect how you think and feel about yourself, because it could have been something to do with these tower moments that you're experiencing, whether you're kind of on the receiving end or others are, could really change how you feel about you. Anyway, but there's this like divine beauty and grace. I do need to say, some of you, even when no one's around here, there could be like a strong maternal energy or a nurturing quality or aspect to you. Some of you are very beautiful. I don't know what it is that you do. It almost makes me also think of people who make good choices or choices of integrity, whether somebody is there in front of you or not. I don't know what that looks like. So it's like, I'm not just doing things for show. I'm actually doing them because something about it says that it's true to my heart, and that I feel like this would be the group where you are the people that has some sort of internal compass that directs you to act with like bravery and courage. There is a clarity here that we've been talking about. And sometimes part of that is the ability to cut through. It's like, you know, when the tower falls down and there's like all this maybe like smoke or like dust kind of clouds around, and everyone's vision or view is like really hard to see through because of all the debris and the air and whatnot clouding everybody's view of what's truly happened. And there's something here where you have the ability to either cut through it, or you've somehow persevered through the storm or the clouds or the debris, in which it's all been able to settle down and clear up, and you've been able to present the truth. It's like an accurate truth. It's a hard-hitting truth. It's could be at times very blunt or very sharp, very pointed, very like fine detail, accurately pointed truth, to a point where I feel like it would be very hard for people to ignore, and that there could be a sense of, once they come into contact with this truth, that they are maybe never going to be the same. It could be the thing that initiates those tower moments that we were talking about, where maybe for some of them it is that internal shattering of belief systems and, you know, recognizing different things in life. But yeah, is there a shining light? No, okay, I think wherever I was going with that doesn't need to come out. So there is also something here too where you may spend a lot of time going back and forth in different thoughts and feelings over and analyzing things, or thinking a lot about things. It's like being very well thought out. I did say overthinking things, thinking yourself into preparation, thinking of the worst case scenario. There could be a touch of anxiety here. There could be a back and forth between like not knowing maybe what should rule decision making in terms of like thoughts or feelings, or like a mismatch between the two. Is it incongruency between thoughts and feelings, and like head over heart, or just feeling like you have impossible decisions in front of you that you don't know how you're supposed to make that choice. And it could just be being faced at a crossroads, how you're going to handle it. So some of you could have trouble decision making, right? Whether, you know, and it's for some of you, it could be harder when no one's around, right? Because there's no influence, there's no external expectation, judgment, you know, input or anything. I think there is something here that's very key to this group, that who you are when no one's around is actually very important for you, because you could find that they kind of cloud you up. This group, you may resonate with like being an empath or having strong empath kind of experiences, even if you don't necessarily identify with that. And it would explain this clarity that I am feeling. Because there was a before and after, and we did talk about two people. We did talk about how this could have been you before and you afterwards. But there is also something here for some of you, that when you have left particular relationships or situations, that all of a sudden you have been given a renewal and a clarity that you did not have before, and a renewed sense of purpose or something, whatever that thing is that we keep kind of tapping into. It's all of a sudden the peace. I just keep getting the lines, like the peace of 1,000 sages. Who? I think Just Pocket says that. Anyway, wherever I've heard it from, it's like absolute just peace and stillness, and the ability to sit with myself and see clearly and feel clearly, and to maybe, even though there are a lot of times where decisions are hard, and knowing what's right between head over heart matters, heart over head matters, whatever that looks like, I now actually feel grounded. I now feel myself. I now feel in my body. And I like almost want to cry, because it's like I haven't felt in my body for so long. I haven't felt like myself for so long. I haven't had clarity to be able to sit with this or feel like this for so long. And it's almost like a compassion for the self, for the things that you may have been through, or a compassion for yourself, for the fact that, you know, maybe you've accepted other people's criticism or judgments, or being on the receiving end of it, because you didn't have that clarity, because you weren't given the space to be able to have that, or the situations that you were going through demanded so much more of you, okay? But I think we've kind of hit most of that in a roundabout way, and I just feel like you guys have been through so much, and there was no way they were going to let me just come here and be like, you know, list out 10 or 20 things about you, about who you are when no one's around, okay? So we do have like, yeah, like you are, whether someone's around or not, I feel like this is the group that it's like, it doesn't matter whether people are or aren't, like I said. I feel like there's a strong courage or courageousness and a bravery here. There's like an infinite ability to be tempered in such a way that you are grounded, and I think you are very well thought out, and that you do see things quite clearly, like we talked about. I think there is a type of strength here that maybe only you could have, to be able to see your situation clearly, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's easier when we don't have the strength to bury our head in the sand and not want to see things for what they are, okay? There is something here to do with comfort. So for some of you, you may seek a lot of comfort, or maybe you get this best version of yourself that you're able to put forward, or who it is that you're able to be, is to do with some sort of way that you comfort yourself as well. There is something here to it almost feeling like a security blanket, maybe taking care of yourself. Like this almost could connect to like an inner child, like your inner child feeling safe. So congratulations to those of you that have been on that path. There is something here about finding a way to put yourself first, finding a way to, what is it, I'm not sure what it is, whether it's like self-focus, self-regulate. There could be a few different things there. That we'll just leave it though, because it's not really coming through very clearly. You could go, we talked about a lot of processing and transformation that you go through. Some of it could be very heavy, or it could be very like hard hitting. It's like, I literally, the way I see it is this lightning bolt coming through, and it's like out of nowhere, and it strikes and it hits hard, and it just knocks everything down. But I think there's something here about you're kind of built to handle it in a way. And I don't like kind of that werewolf analogy that we were getting, right? Like the werewolf does not undergo a transformation that it cannot get through. It continues to transform every single moon cycle, okay? Yeah. Okay, so I'm getting some letters come through that could be significant. So the letter T, M, W. I was getting A. We already said W. V. I was getting like V for Victor, not that. Yeah, okay, anyway. X. H. I. L. I think that's enough. I don't know if there's any more here. So just take what resonates. Those letters don't really have to mean anything to the majority of you. It's just, again, kind of like the zodiacs, extra points of confirmation. There could be like strong feminine energies we already talked about. I keep getting this courageousness kind of come through. So I just want to sit with this for a moment and see if there's something that I've missed. It is like a strong courage, like a strong feminine aspect here. Like a strong courageousness, that something about the feminine, like the divine feminine energy parts of yourself that are very strong here. It's like very well developed. I don't think we need to keep going into that anymore, but yeah. I think that this is everything that I have for you. We don't want to talk about it? No. Okay, I kind of don't feel like I want to leave you guys here, but I'm not really getting anything else. So maybe just after this message, if it did bring a lot up for you, maybe take some time to really sit with it and kind of ground it out in whatever way it is that you need to. That will help you. Yeah, they're kind of asking for a disconnection to close it off. So hematite could be a good one for you to work with if the crystals are a thing. Okay, so that's everything that I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful and insightful, group 1. And I'll see you in another one. Take care. Okay, welcome in group 2. If you chose this plant, then this will be your reading today for who are you when no one's around. But I was actually getting a different question come through when I sat with your group, and it was, what is it that you do that makes you mad? So there could be something here about who you are that feels maybe less like a personality trait and maybe more about some type of behavior or the way that we're like choosing to handle situations or something. So what I had following that was, not helping yourself is both a blessing and a curse. Fear of judgment, what's proper, less everything, like less thinking, less feeling, more action. So just take what resonates there with that, because that to me was a bit like, hopefully it makes more sense to you than it does to me. And we will move forward. I do feel like there's a lot here concerning like the lower chakras. So this would be like root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, kind of maybe even all the way up to the heart. But it's very much like a being in your body, being in the mundane, being in the everyday. And so who are you when no one's around? I feel like this would be people that would be like very engrossed with like the present moment and what it is that you have ahead of you, what your day looks like and what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're working on. That you could have a project here that is either long-term or you have put a lot of work into, or something that, even if it's not specifically like a project, even if it is a 9-to-5 employment, but you've been putting a lot into it or something, or maybe you've been developing skills in yourself that I don't know, it's not really about the job, it's more about you, but something to do with like how you're showing up or developing yourself. And I feel like it's starting to bear fruit, and it may not be enough to feed a village yet, but it's like you're starting to see the rewards of like the harvest and whatnot. It kind of makes me think like you've grown your own fruit and vegetables enough to kind of, you know, actually supplement some meals, but maybe you can't entirely live off the veggie garden. Or maybe you've got enough in your veggie garden that you can feed yourself, but maybe not the whole family or not the whole village or something like that. So I just feel like something you've been doing has been working, and it's required maybe great patience here. I keep getting the word virtue for some reason. So for some of you, it's like a virtue that you have, maybe is patience, and this could be something that you're either asked to embrace more of, but I feel like for most of you, you already really are. This like patience is a virtue, like you are. There could be encouragement here, but there could just be like a recognition of your patience. So there is also something here too where you could have some type of like energy leak or loose, I don't know if it's a loose boundary or something here, where there could be someone that tries to take more than what they need, or there could be, for some of you, it's a needing to work on boundaries, like a course correction. It's not like you've been doing it wrong, but there's something here we still may not be quite happy with it, even though it has, you know, for the most part worked this far. Or maybe it's been, you've come a long way with it or something like that. I do feel like maybe for the most part you're really happy, but there's like this one thing, I don't know if it's necessarily in your vision or not, whether this is something that's happening right in front of you, or you know and you don't care, you're pretty chill about it, but you're like pretty happy what you're doing and what you're receiving. So you kind of like just let it go and you're being very chill, because some of you are just being very chill about it. And so as much as we're saying, who are you when no one's around? Maybe this is part of what it is. It's like not sweating the small stuff, not letting things work you are, not letting things get underneath your skin, being really good with your boundaries. There is the inverse here of like, these are things that you could have to work on, but I feel like for most of you, you're already doing it. And there is the ability here to kick back, relax, embrace the good times, or what's that song? It's like take your mama out all night. I can't even think of it. It's like, fuck. I'll look it up afterwards. If hopefully I can remember to look it up afterwards. I've been getting bad with linking songs. If it ever happens, just in the comments let me know that a song wasn't linked if I said it was, but I mean, it's fine. You don't always have to listen to the song. It could just be a line, but for some of you it is an energetic shift as well, okay? So you're a full grown man. What is that? Wine. What is it with the wine? There's like a song and it says something about cheap wine. Okay, anyway. So it's like your ability to just embrace life as it is, as it presents in the moment, very chill. Making the most of like the relaxing moments or the chill moments, or not letting things affect you. It's like being solid enough that like it's not a bother, okay? This makes me think that when you are well rested, that you can work, you can do the things that you need to do. Do you know what it is? It's like not rushing around. I'm not being, crazy about being busy or ticking things off. It's like, no, I will get there in my own time as I need to. I'm not burning extra resources. I'm not running around crazy to achieve it. I'm not making mistakes. I'm taking my time. I'm enjoying the process as I go. Grace and patience. Patience is a virtue is coming through again. There could be something here where you're quite beautiful, where, I mean, not for everyone are you like female, or would you think of yourself as beautiful? I do think you are, regardless of what gender you hold. Like, it's a gender neutral reading, right? But there's something about the grace that you allow yourself. It's like a really healthy allowing yourself to be, a really healthy allowance and acceptance of a feminine energy in a way that really works for you. I feel like it's paying off. And I think there's something here that when we allow ourselves this slow time or downtime or taking our time or just being in however it is that we do things, that it kind of helps fill us up in a way that we have more energy to do other things that we might like, or to maybe be more social, or to maybe have more capacity. So in moments where we're called to make a decision or a judgment, or think on the spot or take a stand in some way, that we're able to do so again in a way that is very calm, centered, grounded, balanced. Like, we don't falter, we're not getting worked up, we're not worrying about it. There's a lot of ease here, a lot of flow. Group 2, this is like a really lovely energy and a really lovely reading. And I think whatever, like, some of you could just be really taking your time doing all these things, giving yourself grace, journaling. Maybe you've done the crying. Maybe you're just taking things one day at a time, baby steps or something like that, to do with any sort of like betrayal, heartbreak, or deep sadnesses, potentially grief. I'm not sure about that, but just heartache, or just things not working out the way that we maybe wanted or thought. I was actually getting it before about like a radical acceptance. So this group, you would be the group that just has like that radical acceptance and maybe surrendering to what it is that you're experiencing, and maybe that things aren't always perfect, and that's okay, and you have the ability to do what you need to do and just pick up where you left off and kind of move on, and maybe have vulnerable moments, or moments of vulnerability, or moments of feeling, but it's not rocking you. I don't know if I want to say any more or not, because some of you, I think, have always been this way, but there's something about your ability to be grounded while experiencing whatever different things might happen, kind of come up. Okay, what else might we have here for who are you when no one's around? I do feel the energy of procrastination for some of you, where, let's go back to that initial message that came through at the start of like, what is it that you do that makes you mad? So some of you could kind of teeter-totter between these thoughts and feelings, but I don't know. It's like, not helping yourself is both a blessing and a curse. Because some of you could like kind of procrastinate while you're waiting for things to come through, and that could make yourself mad. But for others of you, there's like this fear of judgment. So like, maybe when judgment happens, it really hurts you and it makes you really sad, or you feel like you can't escape the judgment in some sense. And we had less everything, like less thinking, less feeling, more action. So for some of you, it's like maybe your way through this, whether this is like processing or a way that you are not going to make yourself mad, is by continuing to take action or steps, or just like focusing on the task in front of you at hand. Because I feel like for the most part, you're pretty good at it, but there might be times where you procrastinate too much, and then, or this judgment comes up and you get caught up in the sadness or something. This could be like 3 aspects or experiences that you experience quite a lot, where there might be quite a bit of duality in them, because I don't feel like you're particularly bad at these things, or I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't feel like you're particularly imbalanced in them, but this might just be more of an internal struggle that you feel, or an internal experience that you have. Yeah. And I do have to say that if you are experiencing some type of judgment energy, that this is something that for however it happens is being shared with those around you or being passed on to those around you. So whether that looks like you're actually then passing judgment to others, or whether it looks like you're being impacted or affected by others' judgment, then kind of has some type of flow on effect to others. I'm not sure what that is, okay? All right, I just want to take a moment and see if there's something else here, if we need to pull more cards or what's happening, because I do feel like there's still a lot of energy in this. And I just want to make sure we've actually talked about what we need to. No, I'm just getting that this is just a thing now that we might need to sit with for a while. And I feel for some of you that maybe that's how a lot of things kind of need, I don't know if it's how they do happen in general for you, or how you best find your ability to move through these experiences, is to just sit with them for a while. Maybe procrastination, I don't know. I don't want to be too contradicting here because I really want the message to be clear for you so that it's not confusing. But I think it is true that, like, you know yourself best and your own experience best. So again, take what resonates. But for some of you, procrastination is really helping you move past themes of judgment and sadness that you might experience. So for some of you, maybe it is a time that's kind of helpful for you to be hands off. But whatever that thing is that's like making you mad about yourself, maybe there's more of a message there to look at that as opposed to external things. So I want to go back to the theme, who are you when no one's around? I think you would be quite diligent, that you continue to show up every day over a long period of time. There is something here about, even if it's not perfect, I feel like there's kind of something in the being perfectly in perfect balance. We did get a lot of grounded, centered, balanced energy. There is a type of clarity here. There's definitely some themes about, I was going to say embracing creativity, peace, or relaxation, or health and wellness in some sense. Maybe the way that you do things, where it's like, yeah, it makes me think of lowering blood pressure. So living a life that is not going to be too taxing of us, or having a good balance between the things that weigh us down and the things that lift us up. Or there are times to be, upset and grieve or move through the emotions, but also be quite steady in everything that we do continually. And like journaling, it's like self-love, self-care kind of practices here are coming through as well. So you could be a person who really like delves into self-care practices or something, or it's like important for you. But there could also be something here too where you feel like you get it wrong, or you feel like maybe you don't have enough, or maybe you feel like you make a lot of mistakes or something. But I feel like we're not here to place judgment on the times where things didn't go the way that we would have liked them to. And maybe we can just recognize that we're feeling hurt or sad or something. All right, so going back to the theme. So who are you when no one's around? We talked about being diligent, grounded, focusing on peace. You could be an animal lover. You could be a person who really likes company. Yeah, very peaceful, very, very virtuous. There definitely could be like strong earth sign energy here. So was it like Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn? Some of you could be a little bit quirky, almost like, I was going to say Aquarius, but Sagittarius wanted to come through. We also have Pluto here as well, but maybe I don't really get the Pluto vibes, even though I see it in the card. This could be a transformative process. There could be an element here of maybe the transformation's not the thing at the forefront, but maybe just a radical self-acceptance or radical acceptance in our situation or something. This gives me being firm in our roots, but not blown around too easily. Yeah. Okay, so there's a quirkiness. Is there anything else here that we want to talk about? There could be something here where you kind of lead by example in this way that you are or way that you choose to be. I do feel like there is some type of dark aspect, maybe mentally, that you have trouble getting away from. So these might be the parts of yourself that others don't see, or that it's how you kind of maintain yourself. But at the end of the day, it's who you are when no one's around. There's something here where I think a lot of you could actually be the opposite, where you could be quite free from judgment. And that would make more sense with that embracing like a quirkiness or an eccentricity or something, where it's like that Aquarius and Sagittarius energy is coming through. So there's definitely different things for different people in this group. Take what resonates. Some of you are quite, I did talk about being diligent, but there's something here where you're like quite good at training, setting things up that you're working on to work very well for you as well. Okay, that's really everything that I have for you today for this reading. Thank you for joining us, Group 2. Hopefully this is helpful and insightful to you. If you got something out of it, definitely like the video, and I'll see you in another one. Take care. Okay, welcome in Group 3. If you chose this plant, then this will be your reading today on who are you when no one's around. And I just have to do a quick like zodiac call just for the kickoff of the reading. If you don't have any of these placements in your chart, or you don't know your plot, I was going to say part, but I meant chart. Just ignore that part. This is only extra points of confirmation. It's mostly representative of an energy, okay? So we have Sagittarius and Taurus to kick off. The first things first, I feel like some of you may have some type of darker aspects or past, and there's this like whole learning how to embrace it and how to move forward with that and how to kind of integrate that. For some of you, it is like a dark past, but there's been some sort of like change or turn in direction or something like that, where there's like an embracing of a lighter aspect of yourself. Yeah, it's like dark, maybe darker aspects of yourself and lighter aspects of yourself, where it's like we're gonna learn how to do both at once. Like, it's okay for me to embrace my shadow, but it's okay for me to embrace my light side and to have a happy blend of the two. There is something here about learning to exercise your balance, your literal temper, in control of your experience or emotions, or you're taking action in some way. There is something, I feel like, whatever this is, like who are you when no one's around? I think you have a strong personality. I think you have a strong character. I think you maybe have strong leadership or a straight spine, like you stand up tall, as in what I'm trying to say is that you are not spineless, like you have a solid backbone, okay? So there is also something here that you may dip in and out of different environments or different worlds. Just take what resonates there. There could be something here that you do shine very brightly. You could definitely have a stubborn quality to you. There is something here where I feel like freedom. What is it? because on one hand, I kind of have like an aspect of freedom and being very self-governed, very self-directed, not faltering because anybody else has stepped in your, what am I trying to say, remit, arena, your presence, your environment, your atmosphere. You're not going to change who you are just because somebody else is there. But I also have, there could be like a traditional kind of aspect here. There could be a not wanting to change the way that you do things. So this could be like a person who, it's like who you are when no one's around. I don't think it changes. Some of you could be closet have more traditional values than what you would actually express externally. There could be something here where you don't like change, you don't like doing things a different way to the way that you've done it. I don't know though. I feel like you could do spontaneity and you could do, I don't know, there's a lot of conflicting energy here, because for some of, I don't know if I said it or not, group 2 may have some messages there for you and resonate for those of you that already feel drawn to it. There's 2 aspects. So some of you could experience a dual sense of self, or a dual, like maybe you're in one mood and you're like, I want freedom and adventure and I want to go out and have a good time and I'm not going to let anybody tell me how to do it, kind of thing. And it doesn't matter whether that's like around people or not. Like this feels very, like I said, self-governed. But then maybe you have times where you want to stay at home and you're going to dig your heels in and buckle down on it, and you're going to be like, I don't want anything to happen that is, I don't know if it's outside of your control necessarily, but I want to be able to expect it. So maybe there is something here where it's like when you're, I don't know how else to explain what I'm kind of getting, but like maybe there's something here that when you're in one mood, you're one way, and in another mood, another way. It does come through more about when you're being extroverted, you're being very extroverted. And when you're being introverted, you're being very introverted. And I don't know how this is about. I know that it said that you don't change much between when people are around or not around. So who are you when no one's around? For some of you, when no one's around, they don't realize how introverted you are because of when you're around them, you are so extroverted. But for others of you, you do not change. There's a reason why it's coming through the way it is, and it's because you're actually not any different at all. Like I almost get in a positive way, or like with no actual kind of connotation to it at all. It's like being a stick in a mud, where it's like immovable, inchangeable. Is that a word? Unchangeable. Like you do not falter. It's like a strong horse. We talked about a strong backbone, where it's like, I'm not going to just be tugged on. I'm not letting you take the reins. I'm not letting you necessarily have control over me. And I don't know if that's the right way to say it, because I do feel like, so I kind of get like the vision of like a horse or a bull, literally with like Sagittarius and Taurus, okay? And you know, when they're like healthy and wild, there is no taming these beasts. And you could potentially gently guide these beasts in a way that maybe if you are really gentle and really supportive, or you let them kind of self-govern, and there is an essence of maybe they will let you closer or nearer. But also, it's kind of like no one could be your boss unless you gave them permission to. No one could have influence over you unless there was like a level of safety or permission that you've given. Unless you want to hand over the reins, they're not going to get the reins. And I don't know, I feel like I need to keep throwing this out. What else do we have? I do think for some of you moving through this, who you are when no one's around, you really like music. Some of you could definitely get into strong divination. Some of you, I keep getting that like immovable sense or quality, that it's like you're just not doing anything that you don't want to do, or you're just not changing who you are or anything. Okay, anyway. There is something here where you don't want to maybe be bothered by people. Some of you may actually just want to be like left alone to your own devices so that you can do the things that you like, that you enjoy, part of your processing, part of your balance. You know, if you've got like a particular routine or habit that you have, it's like you just want to do that thing, and it doesn't even feel bad, like it feels good, but also it's like you may value your peace or your independence. Some of you want to eat food the way that you eat it. Some of you want to garden the way that I do feel like there is a lot here about either the natural environment, gardening, or being able to be outside or outdoors. Regardless of what that looks like and how you appreciate it, it could be having literally plants. But it could just be being in your natural environment. It could be just letting yourself be. There is something, I kind of get something here about keeping the flies out or keeping the fungus gnats away. So it's like maybe you just really like your own time and having a break from people because they could just be annoying at times, right? It's like, no, I just want to do this thing. But it's kind of in the sense, maybe for some of you, this is like protecting or embracing spiritual practices or religious, I don't know what that is. For some of you, because it can be like a coming together, for some of you, this is like being quite, I don't know if I want to say protective, but it's like honoring the divine union of myself within myself. But others of you, it's like spending time with your person, but still being very independent within the confines of a relationship. Like there is definitely some sort of aspect here about a divine union, but I think it's probably in both parts where it is like feminine and masculine divine meeting within yourself. I embrace both parts of myself. I am a whole person. And it's very good. If you didn't know it was good, I don't know. I feel like you probably do. But for others of you, there is this being in relationship and both parts of you being, both people being honored independently. There's like a real sense of like security here and freedom here as well. Okay. I do have to say, for some of you, who are you when no one's around, there's definitely a sauciness. There's like almost an exotic quality, a very attractive quality. I was getting the word toey, but what I was going to say is maybe like I don't know if it's like a risk-taking thing or an adventurous thing. I'm getting like a lot of analogies here, so take what resonates. There is like a potentially like really dressing up or playing up, dress-ups. What else is there? Playing up your beauty, like in maybe whether it doesn't matter if it's natural beauty or not, it's just playing it up. Bit of both. But embracing, what else is there here? Embracing a sensuality. Okay. Group 3, this is everything that I have for you today on who are you when no one is around. So hopefully this resonates and is like, interesting or insightful to you. If you got something out of this reading or enjoyed it, definitely like the video, and I'll see you in another one. Take care. Okay, welcome in group 4. If you chose this plant, then this will be your reading on who are you when no one's around. We are nearing the end of the battery life for the video, so we are going to hopefully like be very streamlined and pump out this information for you. So for some of you, who are you when no one's around, there is like you could be a key foundational person in stability in how you live your life. So you either crave stability, that's how you structure your life, or you are the stable person for other people. So there is that like the fixed quality coming through. So there may not be a whole lot of I was going to say give or take or flexibility here, which is obvious because it's fixed energy. Not that you don't have your times that you can't, but it's like a backbone, a structural energy. It's like you could be quite structured, very dependable. People can count on you. It's like reliability. We've got persistence, as in you're not just going to give up kind of thing, and loyalty as in like and always being there. It's that very strongly dependable energy. So take what resonates with that one there. But there is something too where you could just be like very human in a way that people might not understand or might mistake some type of like mysteriousness that you have or an outward presence when they see you. But others of you could be highly intuitive, highly spiritual, highly there could be like a strong focus on esotericism, if that's a word, esoterics here. There could be mediumship qualities, getting in contact with the other side. I do get like lunar practices or ritualistic practices. It doesn't have to be those kinds of things for everybody, right? If you know you're not in the woo-woo, we will get there, okay? But there kind of is something here where you probably actually really like people around. And it's so weird because the High Priestess is like Pisces, right? But we also have this fixed energy here. So there could be something about dipping in and out of like a fixed, what is it? Like, I don't know, is it dipping in and out? Is it permeable? Is it mutable? I feel like for most of you, the fixed quality is stronger, but maybe with like different, it's like you're not mutable, you're not nipping and tucking, you're not really changing a lot, but maybe there are Piscean kind of qualities here. It's just all I think about when I think about Pisces is that this could be like 12th house energy. There could be stuff here that's unconscious. There could be things that people don't see going on. There could be just a lot that kind of happens behind the scenes. I think maybe that's what it is. It's like maybe you don't really change, and maybe you are the strong source of like structural, reliable, steady person, but maybe there's a lot here that happens behind the scenes that people don't see. There could be a lot that kind of, this is going to sound weird, but for some of you, who you are when no one's around, maybe you don't even really know who you are. Like, I mean, getting the word immiscible, so I don't even know what that means, but we will just keep going. So we also have the Novice of Swords, which will be Page of Swords. I feel like a lot of you are learning. So a lot of you could be on some sort of higher spiritual quest, some sort of like, some of you are like learning about occult, esoteric things. Some of you could be learning about the mind, psychology. Some of you could be learning, I talked about higher consciousness. Some of you could be like guru, I don't know. I feel like I'm just throwing out a heap of spiritual things and hoping that it lands, and it's not really right. Some of you could be learning how to apply different things that you have learned about. Some of you, what is this? Like even the incense is like standing out, and like talisman is standing out. Like the palm with like palmistry, whatever that's called. I'm pretty sure it's palmistry. Taking symbolism and signs and synchronicity from nature and the some of you could, in essence, pass on a type of knowledge to others that are learning, that don't, there could be something here about things that you experience that are not so like worldly or something. Look, we do with the Page of Swords, this could be like studying, understudy. This could be academics, communication, logical thinking. There could be an element of skepticism here. So some of you can kind of balance these energies, yet maybe trying to weave them together or holding to polarizing, you know, parts of yourself or something. But we have sowing seeds of hope, harvest, what you plant, committing to the process, blossoming and sustaining. We also have touching the boundless limits of the universe, which is like awesome considering some of the messages we already had. And we have anger and chaos. So there could be a bit of inner turmoil and just like growing, but it's committing to the process. You could be doing a lot of work behind the scenes. You could be doing a lot of learning behind the scenes. Don't really want to wait for this video to just like the battery to just die and conk out. I actually want to where are we at that one? Okay. I kind of want to stop it before it gets to that point so that we don't have any issues with it later. So it could be something here where you guys don't really want to take a break or rest, but we have the Hermit. So you could be withdrawing a lot more. There could be a lot of unseen factors going on here where it's like, who are you when no one's around? I don't know if you don't know yourself or if like other people just have no idea. Like maybe some people have never really seen you when no one's like dirt. What? People might not be able to connect the dots between you in public and in private. For some of you, this could be a group. If we have tarot readers or whatever coming through, they don't have to be tarot, it could be any type of reading. Because I was almost getting in a sense of like reading flowers. Like I've heard of, you know, like a psychic going to being hired for like a party or an event and then taking like a bag of like different flowers or picking them from the garden of wherever they were. And they have like a bag and they let one person out of the group pick out a flower and then they give a reading based for that. It's like a thing where the other people in the group no one knows who picked what flower or something. Like maybe they pick it in private or something out of the options given to them. And then the psychic might give a reading to the people in the group, but no one knows whose flower is for each other. And there's like a privacy protection of confidentiality that's being respected through spirit, through the way that the reader's doing that reading. But there's also that like divination practice that it's kind of divine, but it's kind of like a party trick, but I don't know. Anyway, so with the Hermit here, so we had understudy, we had divination, we had readers could be coming through this group because there is an essence here of like maybe how you show up in the community is with whatever this kind of front is, but people don't really know you. So, but why is this who you are when no one's around? For some of you, there could be like a blanket of protection here so that others can't access your energy or something like that. So that others cannot actually get a read on you. For some of you, you could have people that have tried to read into your energy and they're not actually getting anything because there's only so much. It's like, as much as I know this is about the fixed signs, this card, it's literally a hand being held up like stop, no go, you cannot enter, you shall not pass kind of thing. And there's almost like a spirit guide or spirit or something overlooking it, protecting some sort of divinely orchestrated, ordained, there could be a sanct. Why is there a sanct coming through when this is who you are when no one's around? Some of you could live within like a sanct or a group. I don't know what that is, where you were learning about these types of things. Others of you have very much like withdrawn from your groups or society, or who you are is a person who likes your solitude, your time to yourself, your own company. You could be a person who likes to learn in privacy. You like to just sit with your own thoughts and feelings. You could be very introspective. You could be quite wise in a lot of ways. There's a service. What am I trying to say? Like you might struggle with how you present yourself to the world. You might struggle with how you feel about yourself, how you show up in whatever this environment may be that you put yourself out into. But it could be something that you feel like you struggle with even when no one is around as well. And there could be something here where you are service orientated, whether it is you go above and beyond to an extent of your own detriment versus, what is it? It was like victim martyr, but it's not This is service. Why is that? Why is that a thing? Why is that coming through? Some of you could be learning more about yourself. You might not have a lot of information about yourself. This may be, some of you are like on a spirit-led journey, and this is how you kind of learn about yourself, because you don't necessarily have like a mentor or someone who's helping you. A spirit is kind of connecting you in with yourself, because you may not have ever really had a lot of, I don't know, it almost is making me feel sick when I talk about it. So hopefully that like resonates for some of you, as in maybe there was experiences here that we don't need to highlight or go back over, because there could have been a loss of self here that was experienced. There also could have been a level of like dissociative qualities, or something's immiscible, a loss of self we talked about. Yeah, I don't know, we don't need to keep going. Okay, so but there could also be this like healthy learning how to embrace the anger and the chaos. Yeah, and this is a sign of growth for you. This is like when the fire rips through the field or nature and burns all the, you know, dead leftover grass and wood, and kind of cleans up the environment, and it puts nutrients back into the earth so that the new sprout can kind of come through. And it may only be little and new and young, but it's like fertile soil to set it up for the future. And you know, there are some plants like in Australia, I don't remember, is it like a grass tree? I was going to call it another, I don't think you're allowed to call them like black boys anymore, but that's like the common name that I grew up with them being called, right? Is it grass tree? I don't know if it's grass tree. Anyway, and they're a plant that when you set fire to them, like a lot of plants in Australia, I think in the desert maybe can kind of live through that stuff, like through fires or whatever, because of the way that the natural environment is. But you can burn them, and it's really, for that particular plant, it's really good. It like sets off a flower. It like gets to seed itself afterwards, I think. Yeah, and it lives a long time. Like, it will definitely live through it. Might lose its leaves and whatever, but there's like a hardening quality or aspect to it as well. So this is like rebirth, this is learning yourself, this is grounding, this is balancing, this is integration and embodiment. But this is the fertile grounds, sowing your seeds of hope, harvest what you plant. This could be a time of, what is it? Starts with M, manifesting. Yeah. You could be a person who manifests a lot. So who you are when no one's around. There could be intention setting. There could be lots of learning. I feel like a lot of you are doing lots of learning, even if this is inner self, not necessarily, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there could be learning astrology. There could be the natural environment. There could be cycles. Could be behavioral stuff. I don't want to go too deep into things that maybe are going nowhere either. 12th house seems to be pretty a thing. Some of you are learning how to light the way for yourselves or for others. Some of you are learning how to see in the dark. Some of you are learning how to see when there is no light, or when it is cloudy or murky, or yeah, like when there's no illumination. It's like you're learning how to feel your way through the dark, and that could be strongly connected with an intuition, because it's kind of like the blind leading the blind, or like the feeling things without, it's very water sign. I know we have fixed signs here as well, so we could, I was going to say Scorpio, but it's also with Pisces here as well. It's like when you're a fish in the water, and you feel the movement from anything that touches the water or that's already in it. It like sends out the ripple or the whatever in the water. So you could be learning how to see in the dark in like a psychic, spiritual, energetic way, or something like that. For those of you that don't resonate with the woo-woo and you've come through here, there could still be a lot that ties in for you that makes a lot of sense. But it's like maybe you're learning how to intuitively navigate situations based on your feelings and your experiences, and the way that things that you haven't seen have kind of come to fruition and affected you, where I think you're getting a lot better at guesstimating what is beyond the wall of your own vision. And that would make a lot of sense for me here. I almost, yeah, it's getting hard to talk about, almost makes me feel sick, okay? So things that you may not have foreseen that have really affected you in some way. That being said, I feel like it's asking me to be more grounded at the end of this reading. I don't want the video to close off. There could be something here where you're having trouble letting go of things or grieving things or something. I'm going to quickly do a Palo Center, and hopefully that will help kind of ground and clear up the energy a little bit, so that, because I feel like this could be a group where you need, could be something about who you are when no one's around, a person who, like, you kind of are doing or needing more grounding or something. Maybe that's what you spend some of your time doing. It's hard to say what you do because of, there's like, is it elusiveness to your energy, an elusive quality. There is a lucid quality, as in dream state lucidity, something there. There's a lot of different things going on here that I don't know if I've actually done it justice in how I've explained it, but I'm hoping that it resonates for you. Definitely take time to sit with yourself after this. If you need to go touch grass after this video, go do that, whatever it is that makes you feel solid in your sense of self, and so you can move forward with the rest of your day in a way that's healthy and comfortable for you. Hopefully this is like helpful to and insightful, interesting at the very least. And if you did get anything out of this video, definitely like the video, and I'll see you in another one. Take care.